Morning, Adelaide.
Hi.
How are you? Got my daughter here today.
Hello.
Good morning, everyone. Hope you're all well. This is Andrew Stacey from the City of Adelaide Lions Club, live streaming here on Facebook on a beautiful Sunday morning. It's a little bit cool here in Adelaide, so I hope all of you in Adelaide are doing well. I hope all my members at the City of Adelaide Lions Club are doing well. Good morning, South Australia. Good morning, Australia. And good morning to any Lions International that are following me this morning. I hope you're all well. Hope you had a good week. Morning, Peter. How are you, mate? Good to see you. I hope you're getting your exercise in today. I've got my daughter here today. She's riding around. We're at Gazer Footy Park again. It's a bit of a cloudy, cooler day here in Adelaide. So I hope wherever you are in the world, it is also a good day. There's heaps of people here at Gazer Footy Park. We've had our social distancing guidelines lifted here in Adelaide, here in SA, and there's quite a few people exercising this morning, which is really, really good to see. We've got a couple of people jogging, there's a few people walking, a few people playing tennis. Actually, there's quite a few people walking. So I'm going to be at the moment I'm going in the same direction as them, so I probably won't be passing too many of them. My daughter here, she's riding a bike. Hopefully this morning I'll be joined by Matt again like I was last week. There's quite a few people playing a bit of tennis, a couple of people on the playground. So here at Gazer Footy Park, there's a bit of activity, which is really good to see. So hopefully you're getting your exercise in this morning. I'm sure Patria is either on the treadmill or the exercise bike, or her new device of an exercise bike that sits under her working desk. So whatever way you get your exercise in, hopefully that's how you're doing it. Hopefully you're finding your way. Now I know if Matt joins us, he's an avid hiker here in Adelaide. So if you enjoy the Adelaide Hills and getting out there to do something different and challenge yourself a bit more, then that's certainly one suggestion. Morning, Yvonne, how are you? Out there in the countryside, hope you're all well out there. Hopefully it's not too cold. I know Yvonne likes to get outside walking. She's got a nice large property which helps, but I know she gets out there, which is really cool. So if I'm sniffing a little bit, it's not because I've got a cold. It's just the cooler air here in the Adelaide CBD or metropolitan area. There's a few people warming up. They're rolling their shoulders over. I don't know what they're about to do. I don't know if they're about to do handstands across the old oval or what. I don't know. Scotty Candida, how are you, buddy? One of my mates from work. Hopefully Chuck is out there getting his walking on with his family as well. Chuck that I work with, who's been a bit motivated lately because of what we're doing here with our Lions Get Active activity and program. He's been getting out there and getting a bit more exercise for the good of his knees that give him a bit of hassle, as well as to get there and get his family out there as well, which is really good. Very well done. Just looking around to see if Matt's going to join us yet, but it's not here yet. So Lions, thank you for joining me, friend of Lions as well. Thank you for joining me this morning. Only a few things to go through this morning. So I hope you find them interesting. It might actually be hopefully it'll be a shorter video, even though I've said that a few times before and it ends up still being half an hour. A few things to share. Now, there was an invitation a couple of weeks ago for a presentation that was exclusive to Lions, and it was a presentation, a webinar by the keynote speaker that we were supposed to have at our multiple district convention last week, and that convention was supposed to be all of last weekend, but clearly was cancelled because of the COVID situation. But the keynote speaker, his name is Dr. James Mukey. I've mentioned him a couple of times. He put on a webinar exclusively for our Lions on Friday. And morning, hun. And I watched it this morning. They've now put it on YouTube, and it's on the City of Adelaide Lions Facebook page. I'm just going to read a message here from Yvonne. Nice one, Yvonne. Meeting your sister and going for a walk with her babes. Nice one. And so he put a live webinar on Friday morning, 9:30, and the video is now available on the City of Adelaide Lions Facebook page. And it's also available on YouTube. I'm not sure which channel it is, I've forgotten off the top of my head. So I watched it this morning. It only goes for about 25 minutes. I'm not sure if the live webinar went for any longer than that, but really interesting. The webinar was called Blinded by Sugar. So obviously the point of that is it's highly relevant to the diabetes awareness campaign that this Lions Get Active program is all about. So I just want to put a shout out to it. If you haven't seen it, check it out. It was really interesting, really factual. Like I said, I'm no expert in diabetes, but a lot of what Dr. Muki said, I have also talked about before as well. But obviously he goes into a bit more detail. He knows a bit more about it. You can certainly take his word for it more so than me. And check it out if you get the chance. Like I said, it's on the City of Adelaide Lions Facebook page. Lions Australia have it on their Facebook page as well. Thank you, Patricia. Really, really good. And like I said, it only goes for about 25 minutes. Talks about type 2 diabetes and how prevalent it is in Australia and worldwide. He talks about how much of a debilitating disease that it can be. And I've certainly known bits of that, but he even highlighted other diseases that it contributes towards. So I knew that diabetes contributes to potential gangrene of your limbs and therefore amputation. I know that it has, and I know that it affects the ability of your feet and your functionality of your feet. So it obviously affects your walking ability and mobility. But what I forgot about, and what he reminded the viewers of, is that it has a massive contribution towards heart attack, towards stroke, towards cardiovascular disease, and blindness, and hence the title Blinded by Sugar. It has a video in there. There's a couple of videos on the webinar that don't work from a volume point of view. There are other means you can go to, other means to find those videos actually working with audio. So that's a bit annoying, but it talks about a gentleman who one morning wakes up and is utterly completely blind. Perfect vision the night before, but due to his type 2 diabetes that he'd been diagnosed with, I don't know, X amount of time earlier, but then just one morning, bang, blindness. And obviously he's blind since. And this particular gentleman has had 9 amputations of different parts of his body. He's had heart attack, and it's clearly not in a good way. So you see a couple of video clips about him, but like I said, on the webinar that was shown by Dr. Muki, the audio didn't work for whatever reason, but you can see those clips on YouTube if you're interested. So yeah, check it out, really eye-opening. It talks about the dangers of sugar. Now, I've spoken about obviously the added sugar that gets put into our food but on previous Facebook streams like this. But what Dr. Muki highlights is not only the processed sugar that's in a lot of foods, it talks about even just regular foods that you wouldn't think are dangerous. So I'm not going to steal all of his thunder, but I think it's worthwhile to mention a few things on there as I'm going around here doing my walk. As I said, this program is all about diabetes awareness, so I'm hopefully motivating people to get up and exercise, look after your lifestyle. Morning mum, morning dad, whoever it is that is on Facebook at the moment. And hopefully you just take some awareness as to how our lifestyle contributes to type 2 diabetes. If you have type 2 diabetes, or hopefully you're managing it, and hopefully this is again a program that can purely provide you an option with how you can continue to monitor and manage your diabetes. If you're conscious that you are a bit of a sugar addict, as I am happy to, or not happy to, I'm happy to confess I know that I'm a sugar addict, and I've really got to watch what I eat and drink, and I certainly know what my weaknesses are, and it's something I need to probably get on top of a bit more. So, and that's what Dr. James Muki talks about in this webinar. It talks about the 5 A's, and one of those A's is, or those A's if I can remember them, were addiction, alleviation, advertising, and now I'm testing myself and I've lost myself. There's 2 more A's, and so he talks about what those effects are from the sugar in our diets. And I'm just walking past some people here with the kids. How you going, guys?
Hey.
And yeah, if I think of them, I'll obviously mention them. But like I said, I don't want to steal the thunder of the webinar. Please have to check it out. Yeah, so it talks about not only do we know of our white sugar that you'd put in your cup of tea or your coffee, it talks about other foods that have starch. And so the problem with starch is that it breaks down and becomes your sucrose, which obviously then is a form of sugar. And so the big problem in at least our Western society is the amount of white bread that you might eat, the amount of potatoes that you might eat, the amount of white rice that maybe you eat in your diet. And I remember mentioning a few weeks ago, a mate of mine gave me a website about, morning John, how are you? I remember talking a few weeks ago, or for about 6 weeks ago now, about a website a friend of mine put me on that I mentioned here, just some dietary changes that people can make in regards to those sort of things. Eating wholemeal versions of rice and bread can make a huge difference to the amount of sugar that's in your body, as well as how it's released into your body from an energy point of view. How you going, Elvin? I hope you're well as well. I'm sure you can see in the background of me, lots of people exercising. There's a couple of guys jogging, a few people walking, there's a couple of people on the exercise equipment here, which is marvellous. There's heaps of people here this morning. So hopefully you're getting out there doing exercise. Anyway, as I was saying, yeah, so there's these other foods that have starch, which breaks down into sugar. Wheat, flour, pasta, thanks Yvonne, spot on. And so if you change those foods to the wholemeal versions, then you start to make a dent into how much sugar your body is consuming and how much effect that has on the change of sugar as an energy source. It talks about, obviously the video talks about how these foods are converted and how they affect the pancreas to produce insulin to counteract the effects of the sugar in your bloodstream, in your sugar blood levels. So fascinating webinar by Dr. James Muecke. I'm going to say his name a few more times just to make sure people know it. I hope I'm pronouncing his surname right. It's spelled Muecke. And so he was going to be the keynote speaker at our national multiple district Lions convention that was going to be here in Adelaide just last weekend. And so he's the Australian of the Year 2020 as well. He's got a professor background, surgical background. He's a teacher, musician, has all these, writer and author, all that sort of stuff. So a very knowledgeable man, and he's leading the charge. So I mean, he was even talking about the, when it comes to advertising, it shouldn't be on when kids are watching TV at their prime time, say after school and on the weekend, ban all that sort of advertising. And also even on the products themselves, the labels that we have for cigarette packets with, lung cancer and teeth and all that sort of stuff. Oh, there's the other one for teeth. Your teeth degenerate with the amount of sugar that we eat as well. So tooth decay is a problem. So he's suggesting that we should be putting those same advertising and the same graphics as you'd find on cigarette packets on sugary foods, purely as a way to try and prevent people from buying them and consuming them as much. Now he's not saying that we should never ever have sugar and those sweet things that we crave. It's all in moderation. As anyone will ever hear about nutrition, it's all about moderation. So he's obviously not saying that we should never ever eat those sugary foods. He himself talks about being an ice cream fan, a bit of an ice cream addict himself. Again, he was admitted to that. So obviously all he talked about, very, very briefly, was purely just moderating it. He sort of cut it out for a while, and then he's got to a point now where he was eating it daily, then he cut it out for a while, and now it's down to he's eating ice cream every third or fourth day sort of thing as a treat. So it's pure about modification and moderation. Unless I know that I should be doing that as well. Well, I'm just going to move my phone for a second. There we go. I know I should be doing that probably with the soft drinks that I eat, that I consume. So listen, I'm not saying I'm far from perfect, but if you're a sugar addict like me, I'm at least trying to do something about it. Making sure that my lifestyle maintains somewhat a healthier version of it. And then I've got to learn to cut down how much sugar I eat I love potato, I love pasta, I love all those sort of starchy foods. And so I know that's probably not helping. I know that's not helping me either. So, you know, if you're like me, we can go on this bit of a journey together, when people use that word journey, and we can start to learn to cut out those foods or replace them with other things. Talking about a Friday night with family, we're talking about replacing, you know, just normal potato with sweet potato. Little things like that can make a difference. But I say changing your pastas and your rices and your breads from white to wholemeal, or even your sugar from white to brown sugar, makes a massive difference, because it's that refinement processes that changes the composition of sugar, which has that more detrimental effect, whereas when it's in that more natural state, it's not so bad. But it's still about limiting how much sugar we eat, and obviously it's about education and being aware as to what foods have those sugars. And we're talking not only added sugar, we're talking about its natural sugar that would be found in it anyway. Scotty Candida, what can I read, buddy? Pictures don't work, doesn't stop people like me who smoke, who don't like it. Yeah, no, and that's fair enough. It's only going to help some people, it's not going to help every person. But fair enough, Scotty. It's a matter of finding what would motivate you to want to give it up. And that's not to say that everyone will, but at least if you can increase your awareness about it, at least you can do something about it, even if the pictures don't put you off smoking altogether. Sorry guys. Hopefully, maybe they might reduce how much you smoke, or maybe how much they might reduce how much sugar you eat. But if you don't look at them because they're all there all the time, look, that definitely can be a consideration about it all, and therefore we'll have to find other means. And I'm not going to say that I've got all the answers to it, but I'm sure we can find solutions to the problem. So Dr. James Muki talks about those sort of things as to how things can change. He was talking about if you are a bit of a sugar addict, you can start to replace those sugar cravings that you have with other things. And again, he talked about exercise. He said you can replace your sugar cravings with maybe eating nuts. Now that becomes a problem if you've got anaphylactic reactions to nuts. That's certainly not going to help, especially kids in schools, because I don't think there are any schools in Adelaide, at least, that allow nuts because of anaphylaxis and allergies that kids have. So there's an issue in itself. So it would have been interesting to find out maybe a suggestion as to how to get around that. He suggested go for a walk. If you get those sugar cravings, go for a walk. Your pancreas therefore changes its insulin needs. And what he also talked about is the chemicals that are released in our body, our brain, when we eat these foods. So, I'm not getting you right in the sun there, guys, sorry. You alright?
I'm tired. I've done 3 laps.
That's good. I'll see you around soon. Yeah, so there are chemical releases in our brain when it comes to the stuff we like. So when we eat sugar, we get one or two chemicals, one dopamine and the other one of endorphins. They're the happy drugs in our brain. And that's why we repeat, what things that we repeat. Yvonne's suggesting drink water instead of drinking your sugary foods. I know I went through a period of time when I was trying to drink less soft drinks, and I just replaced, anytime I wanted a soft drink, I'd drink milk. So at least there's an alternative, probably not the best alternative, but at least there's an alternative to sugary drinks. So Yvonne, spot on. If we drink more water, not only does it keep you better hydrated, it's a better option anyway. And so endorphins and those two happy drugs are what release in our brain whenever we do something that we like. So Dr. James Buki even suggested do a good deed for someone. That again releases those happy chemicals in our brain. And even the same thing, I remember watching a video, and I've actually talked about this with a couple of guys from work. There's a guy who I love that talks about leadership and motivational skills and business and stuff called, oh my goodness, love him so much I've forgotten his name. Simon Sinek, awesome guy in terms of webinars as well. And he talks about addiction, and again, sugar is now becoming such an addictive commodity. It's as bad as cigarettes, it's as bad as alcohol, and it's as bad as any other illegal drugs as well. And Simon Sinek talks about the addictive components of social media for our kids. Because again, those every time you get a notification or someone replies to a text message or whatever, that ding again releases those chemicals in our brain. They think, oh, awesome, someone's replied to my message, or someone's liked what I've posted or whatever. And so therefore that's why kids have these addictive thoughts and actions towards social media. So I know I'm digressing a little bit there, but it's all related in exactly the same way. We crave those sugar foods because of that awesome feeling we feel when we drink them and eat them. And so that's where he's saying replace those happy feelings that you get from sugar with something else. Do a good deed for someone. Donate money to a charity, or you could donate money to, say, food bank, or donate food to food bank. Give someone a call that you haven't spoken to in a while. Lions clubs do heaps of good deeds. Obviously, that's the whole point of it. So you can always join a Lions club and see what they're doing and how to get that happy feeling when you volunteer your time. You don't expect anything in return, but you're doing a good deed to serve the community. I said, Dr. Meeks, go get exercise, go for a walk on the beach, go for a walk in the hills, whatever. There goes my daughter. Do something to replace that happy feeling that you get when you eat sugar with something else. And I say, those who smoke are asked to do the same thing. If you've got any sort of addiction, purely one of the strategies, is to replace that feeling you get with something else, or by doing something else. So, Scotty, I hear what you're saying about the images. I say one of the other strategies that could be useful is replacing that feeling you get when we smoke with something else. Now, that's not always going to be easy. It's not always going to be logical to find. Purely a strategy. So, for any smokers out there, it's obviously hard to quit. I certainly do not know that. I'm not going to pretend that I know. My parents both quit smoking years ago, and I know it was hard for them, seeing them go through it. So I'm certainly not going to suggest I'm any sort of expert at all about how to do that, how hard it actually is. I just know there are ways, and it takes persistence and motivation to do so. So I just want to say, let everyone know, with this being a diabetes awareness activity through the City of Adelaide Lions Club, just wanted to bring up that, oh geez, a bird fly right by my head. Just wanted to promote this webinar by Dr. James Mukey. It's called Blinded by Sugar. Check it out. Really informative. It might just give you a different perspective on how to look at those things and how we consume sugar. And it gives us a few ideas on how to get around it, or how to modify it, how to change it. So check it out when you get a chance. It only goes for about 25 minutes. Like I said, I'll give you the heads up now. There's a guy that they talk about who gets amputations due to his type 2 diabetes. There's 2 videos on there from what I saw. The audio didn't work. Morning, Pat. How you doing? And but you can still see those videos on YouTube anyway. Just got to search for them. So from a Lions point of view, I just wanted to let everyone know that letters are going out about the club leadership training that happens annually. I don't know about other districts in Australia or internationally when they happen, but here in 201C1 we've had letters sent out to those who are going to be the next leaders of their clubs. So we're talking about presidents, vice presidents, secretaries and treasurers, those who have been have been elected to take on those positions for the next Lions year. You've got some training to do, so I really encourage everyone to get out and do those trainings. They're via Zoom, obviously. Normally they're in person, but they're via Zoom this time around. Here in our district, they're on the 13th and 14th of June. You don't need to do both days. You only need to choose one. Let Yvonne Bradford know which day you want to join in on those Zoom meetings for those training opportunities. I'm one of the presenters there. I'm part of the district's global leadership team. So you get to see my beautiful face on one of both of those days, and I'm there talking about the presidency role. So if you have been elected as the next president, a vice president, a secretary or a treasurer, please make sure you get yourself to one of those 2 days of training. There's some stuff that is going to be relevant to no matter what position you're in, and then there's also sessions purely relevant to only your position, so you don't have to do the presidency if you're doing a treasury position. You just do the treasury one and they're going to get sorted out into different rooms on Zoom. So I really encourage everyone in the 201C1 district to get along to those. If you've been a president for many years, please still come along. There's new information every year that Lions Australia want shared, as well as internationally. We've got a new presentation that we're going to go through that will provide hopefully some new information. And I mean, when it comes to presiding over a club, you need to make sure you've got effective leadership skills to effectively manage a well-run club. So even if you've been running a club for 10 years, you can always learn something new. I tend to personally think that if you're in a leadership position, if you're not up for learning new ways, Chucky, how are you, buddy? If you're not up for learning new ways, you should not be the leader of a club or an organisation. The best leaders out there are always learning how to lead better. And so what our presidency forum is going to be about is leadership skills, how to communicate effectively, and how appropriate is that given these social times. Now that we're coming to an end of it, it's going to change again. But if you don't have an effective way of communicating to your members about how the club is being run, then you'd be in some real trouble, because how have you been contacting everyone? You need to have various means to suit your various members and how they respond. So it's about knowing your members, it's knowing how to work with your members, it's about knowing how to work as a team. If you don't know how to work in a team well, again, I don't think you should be leading. But here's an opportunity where even if you've been leading your club for 10 years, 15 years, come along and hopefully you might learn something new. Secretaries, please come along, because there's new information that needs to be shared. If I can get my English out. There's new information that needs to be shared. Same with the treasurers and vice presidents. Now, it's really important that vice presidents come along. If you're maybe one day thinking of becoming a vice president or becoming a president, or maybe you've been identified by your club with that potential, then I really encourage you to come along. It's free to come along to these trainings, so anyone's really welcome if you've got ambitions to be a leader within your club, or if you've been suggested to be a leader. So I know that we've obviously got our elected personnel hopefully going along. I'll be there doing my presidency bit. Patri will be there as well. Woody will be there as well in the secretary meeting. We've got a new VP that hopefully she'll go along as well. But I know that within the City of Adelaide Lions Club, and I hope this is happening across other Lions clubs as well, if you are interested, even if it's 5 years' time, of starting to take on those leadership positions within your club, please come along to this training, even if it's being this year, do it next year as well, and build the foundations of what it takes to lead a club. To lead a club effectively, anyone can lead a club, but let's do it effectively. Let's make sure that you are all over how to lead a club well. You've got to be open-minded, you've got to be able to communicate really well. You need to know how a team works. If you don't know how a team works, then how are you going to effectively lead a club? Or any organisation really, for that matter. You need to have a vision for what your club is doing. You need to be involved with coordinating activities so that you know how to plan. You need to understand and empathise with people when they have hassles doing that sort of stuff, so to help them deal with those potential issues. You need to be an organised person, and so planning is huge. Planning is part of it if you want to run an effective club. If you don't plan, the good old adage is you're planning to fail. You need to make sure that you have some sort of strategy worked out to build membership. Obviously Lions is an older demographic, and we need to make sure that we are making ourselves sustainable by having new people join our clubs. And I've obviously talked about joining clubs over for every week I do this. I've talked about how much you can get yourself involved, whether it's 1 hour a week or 10 hours a week or whatever time you've got available. But you need to have a plan on how to attract new members. So you've got to be a bit personable as well. All these things get talked about in our forums. As I said, there's no point being arrogant saying I know it all, because a good leader, wants to learn how to do it better. One of my favourite bosses that sometimes followed me here, he's a huge advocate for that, and I learnt from him as well as other people, as well as other leaders, that is a huge component. If you're not prepared to learn as a leader, you'll only ever go so far. But if you want to lead up here, you have to keep on learning. So if you're not open to learning, how can you promote to your members that they should learn too on how to do positions or how to take on new roles and new ideas? So I know from the City of Adelaide's point of view, there are a few people that Patria and I would like to approach to think about doing these forums as well on the 13th or 14th of June. So we'll contact you as well. And that may be people that don't even realise themselves that they're good to be leaders. Marika, how are you? So I hope it might be a bit of a nice surprise that we've identified you. You might already think it and you just don't, you've been a bit humble about it. But we've got a few members in our club that we think will make great leaders in the next few years. So we want to get them primed up, trained up, get them hopefully a bit motivated and inspired that they can do it too. I mean, really, when most people join Lions, you don't think about becoming a leader. You just want to usually serve and help out and do your little bit for the community. But hopefully there are a few people out there that are aspiring for a bit more. So I know that one of my jobs as a GLT member, the global leadership team member, it's my job to help identify those who might be the next leaders of not only our club, but the district as well. So hopefully you've got people in your club that do that too for you and identify you maybe as being a potential leader. Excuse me. I'm going to wrap it up in a minute. Patria's just put a little bit more in there. It's important not only focus on now, we need to invest in the future of our clubs, absolutely. And so, like I said, at least from the City of Adelaide point of view, Patria and I are heavily involved, and we'd like to do a lot of work with our club, but we want to make sure that everyone's doing their bit, and we want to make sure that we have a succession plan so that other leaders can take over, and that way they are part of the whole thing. So we know that we want to invest in our club's future, and so hopefully clubs are doing the same thing. There's no point thinking of the now if you're not thinking of the future as well. I was just going to mention, from a Lions Get Active program point of view, today I'm here at Gazer, as I mentioned. Next week, I've got the lovely Lynn doing another yoga session, so please log in for a bit more yoga, a bit more stretching. I'm just going to try and read what Marika's written. Hi Andrew, looking forward to my second year as president of the Charles Sturt. Absolutely, and she's taken on zone chairperson as well, so Marika is moving up beautifully. Marika's going to a second year. Sometimes Lions clubs will change over their presidents every year as an annual thing, and some clubs they'll go for 2-3 years in a row. Sometimes the president will take a break and come back and be president. I know there are some clubs where they've had the same president for 10, literally 15, and there's even one club that will be going, I think, into his 26th year in a row as being president. So, you know, there could be particular circumstances why that happens. I'm certainly not here to judge. But there are some people in it that long. So Marika, worked fantastic that you're going into your second year in a row as president of the Charles Sturt Hindmarsh Club, which is probably one of my most southern clubs in our district. But she's marvellous, she's so cool. She's hilarious. Anyway, hopefully I'm embarrassing a little bit there, Marika. So next week we're going to have Lynn do another yoga session. So please log in for that. Join us for that, 9 o'clock as per usual. The following week, so that's the 31st. So the following week, Ali, how are you, my dear? How many push-ups do you do? The following week, which would be what, the 6th of June, will be my last session here at Gazer. Here in South Australia, our COVID-19 restrictions have been lifted on the 5th of June, which is the Friday. So on the Sunday, I'm going to use my last session here. It'll either be by myself or maybe with Matt, walk around here, maybe with Patria, who knows. But we'll do it just the 1 or 2 people. Because then the following week, I'm going to go back to Victoria Park Racecourse. And that's where we're going to invite everyone to come along. So if you've been following me and you're keen to get up at 9 o'clock, join us at Victoria Park Racecourse. Come out there and do a few laps with me. Thanks, Marika. Come out and join me, do a few laps with me at Victoria Park Racecourse. We'll have a chat. We still keep our social distance. We'll keep our 1.5. That's fine. But June 14, as long as I got that date right, couple of Sundays time, I'm going to go back to Victoria Park and open this program back up to all of our members, all of my friends who follow me on Facebook, my family follow me on Facebook here, on our Facebook page. Come and join us, come out for a walk. If you can only do half a lap, you do half a lap. If you know you can do 10 laps, you come out and do 10 laps. I probably won't do 10 laps, but I'll come out and do at least 3 or 4. One lap of Victoria Park Racecourse is about 1 kilometre, so it's a really good measurement. So I know I'll probably do about 3 while I'm live streaming with you beautiful people here online. So if you're keen to come out and join me that weekend, we'll get the program back up and running from a social point of view that 14th of June, which obviously is the same day as our training that we have for our club's leadership. So please join me, bring the kids along, bring your dog along. I don't care if you walk, if you want to run, if you want to jog, if you want to skip, if you want to handstand, alley. Come on out, bring your bike, bring your scooter, bring your hoverboard, I don't care. Come on out and join us. We'll try and get a nice large group rejoining me for this marvellous program that I hope people are feeling happy about. Get those endorphins raging around chemically in our brains, and get together again so we can have a chat. If you want to be on camera with me, I'll ask you a few questions. If you don't want to be on camera, that's perfectly fine. Let me know, and I do not put you on camera. I don't want to make anyone feel comfortable. I don't want to discourage anyone from coming along if you're worried about being on the camera. I will not put you on if you don't want to be on. But I hope to get, you know, a nice group of people. We are Lions visually, actively getting out there, showing people how to be active and do something about diabetes, which, if you end up having a look at that video from Dr. James Mukey, it's probably something we need to get a bit more serious about. So come and join me in that week. So next week is another yoga session with Lynn. The following week I'll be 1 more week here at Gazer Footy Club, probably by myself, maybe one other person, like I said, 2 other people, and that's it. But then the following week, that's the 14th of June, back at Victoria Park Racecourse. I want everyone to come along, come and join me. We'll have a chat, enjoy our time together, get a Sunday morning off on a good start, good bright way, and then you've got the rest of the day to do whatever you need to, knowing full well that you've got your exercise in that day. So if you want to run or jog, cycle, whatever means of exercise you want, you can head up there and do it with us. Wear your Lions colours. I've got my red jacket on, so if it's a bit cold, rug up. If it's raining, I will still be out there. If you don't want to join me, that's fine. I will be out there. I'll have the umbrella with me and I will be out there. And I'll represent everyone. But come and join us on that 14th of June. We'll probably be out at Victoria Park Racecourse for, say, 2 or 3 more weeks, just to be consistent so that people know where we are. But as I've mentioned a number of times on these videos, the idea of this program from our club was to then spread the word across our City of Adelaide sort of area. So we'll take it to Rundle Mall, we'll take it to North Adelaide, we'll take it along the River Torrens. We'll find places within Adelaide that we'll get together and do these walks, because I would like, and we would like as a club, to make sure that people see us in our get-ups, seeing what Lions can do. It's about raising awareness for diabetes, but it's also about raising awareness for what Lions do. And if you want to help us and contribute to our club and what our purpose is, by purely wanting to spread the word, you are more than welcome to join us. I invite you to come along and do so. Even if you don't want to be an actual Lion member, that's fine, not a problem. Come out and help us. We just want to spread the word of what Lions do, that we are an active group of people trying to look out for the community. We serve the community, we want to do what the community asks of us, and hopefully we might motivate and inspire a few people as well. So if you're feeling a bit that way inclined, come on out, join us for a walk, join us for a bit of exercise, join all of these people that are out here with me as well. And let's just make sure that we're doing our own little bit, you know, for us individually, and then for us collectively as a bit of a community as well. So it's just making sure that we look after each other. We're coming to the end of the COVID-19 stuff here in South Australia, where our restrictions are being lifted, which is great. But we need to make sure we still keep doing the right thing to ensure that those restrictions are continually lifted, and hopefully they can be further lifted so that other activities can get up and running as well, and society can go back to a little bit of what it was before. It'll probably stay changed for, you know, ever, but at least it'll go back to some similarities to what it was before. So that's the plan for this program for the next few weeks. Now in the next few months, there are some more ideas of what's going to happen with the Lions Get Active program as well. So hopefully you'll stay interested and keep an eye out for what we're going to do. We've got a couple of things pretty spectacular. Excuse me. That we're going to try and do, and we're going to get some more people involved in activities that they enjoy doing. So there's lots of potential of what this Lions Get Active program is going to be. So I hope you come along and follow. And if you want to be a part of it, you are more than welcome to be a part of it. So, especially from my club point of view, I want to get as many of my members a part of it. I'm going to be the coordinator of this project, but it's not my project, it's our club's project. I want to get everyone involved as much as possible. So if you've got an idea of what you'd like our club to do, let us know. As I've mentioned to all you beautiful people that have been following me all this time, I do appreciate anyone who watches, whether it's live now or if you watch it later in the day or later in the week. I really appreciate you just having a look. Hopefully it just provokes a bit of thought. And then if you want to do some action about that, that's obviously up to you. We're here for you if you want to action any thoughts. So I do thank you I actually really do thank you for watching me, and for those people that like to comment there as well. Really appreciate your comments, and I know you're getting engaged. So hopefully you're getting your exercise in this morning or later today, as Yvonne has mentioned earlier. I know Patricia will be on a bike or a treadmill at home. Please make sure you're getting your exercise in. Please make sure you're complementing your exercise with a good, nutritional, well-balanced diet. I know that sounds cliche and everything else, but if you don't eat well, any exercise you do is for nothing. The eating part of a healthy lifestyle is probably more important than the exercise you do itself. But don't neglect the exercise. Get out there, get outside in the fresh air, and do all that sort of stuff as well. So I'm going to leave it there, unless there's anything else, Patricia, you can remind me that I need to talk about. There are further suggestions we can make about what Lions clubs can do to still serve the community if you're under restrictions. And I can share that to those who are interested. So unless Patricia gets back to me in the next moment or two with any suggestions of anything I've forgotten, I'm going to leave it there. I'm liking the thumbs up, guys. I'm loving the hearts that come on through, so send them through. That way I know you're interested. If there's anything that you would like me to talk about, please let me know, and I'll be happy to talk about it here on the video. I've even talked about, asked District Governor-elect Tony Penrick if there's anything he wants on these videos that wants shared. I've also mentioned to the district if there's anything that you want shared, please let me know. And I'm happy to share. I want this to be an opportunity or an option that further informs our members and any potential members of what we're doing as Lions. Thanks, Marika. So have a great day too. So yeah, so if there's anything you want me to share, please let me know. If you've got any questions about Lions or diabetes, that sort of stuff, please let me know. PM me. If you've got my mobile, give us a call. Let's have a chat. If you need suggestions on what exercise you can do based on your abilities or restrictions, give us a hoy. That's cool. Lynn is also a great person to ask questions of, so you can always ask her next week when we do a yoga session. Be there for yoga, 9 o'clock with lovely Lynn. She'll go through some of the same exercises that we did for the other yoga session, and she'll probably introduce a couple more, so just to stretch you out a little bit further. So unless anyone's got any questions, please send them through. I'd love to see them. I'd love to help anyone ask those questions and queries. If you need help with any links, let me know. I really appreciate all of you that have been online with me this morning. If you're watching later today or later in the week, I hope you've had a good weekend. I hope you have a good week. Again, please send me questions. I'm going to leave it there, guys. Get your exercise on out there. There's still heaps of people here at Gazer. People jogging, people playing tennis. The kids are out running around with their mums and dads. There are people playing cricket, getting ready for cricket season, I'm assuming, which is obviously a few months away. But hope you'll find your way to get your exercise in. Have a great Sunday. Have a great week. And until then, be safe. Do the right thing. If you've got any questions, let me know. And I'll see you next Sunday. Have a good day, guys. Have a good week. Oh,